Hello everyone, welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Let's go ahead and continue. My morning alarm goes off and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I decided to give morning runs another shot. I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health, after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Once again, it would appear that I'm not alone in my run. Emi has apparently been here for some time. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. Just when the hell does she come down here anyway?
Oh, it's you.
Hi, Emi. I hope I don't stray off the path of Hanako.
I'm surprised to see you again.
Why's that?
Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try.
She frowns, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought.
Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning.
A shrug, and suddenly it appears that she's forgotten what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, as she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought.
So, come on then.
What?
You're here to run again, right?
Well, yes.
So come on.
I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling while Emi moves with an effortlessness that I find enviable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. I know I should be patient, work toward things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. We round the track and start on our second lap. Emi seems to have grown impatient, keeping pace with me, and begins to pull away. This is where I gave out yesterday. Will I be able to do more? We gotta take it easy. Before we get slaughtered and killed in our attempts at doing nothing. Go for it. Take it easy. I let Emi go at her own pace, and she doesn't show mercy, pulling half a lap ahead of me in an instant. I gotta focus on Hanako. If I do anything else, I might go off the path, and then I will be sad. I don't blame her. I mean, it's not as if I'm really putting up any sort of real fight out here, is it? Instead, I'm just running at a steady pace, which is what I should be doing, right? There's no need to go pushing my limits at this stage of the game. God, is this even worth it? As we finish the second lap, I break off again. Emi keeps going. It almost seems to me that she's disappointed. Well, that's stupid. I don't have anything to prove to her, come to think of it. I got nothing to prove to myself either. I'm just fine the way I am. And what I'm not is a runner. This was probably a bad idea. Maybe there's something else I can do instead of this. Getting up this early sucks anyway. There's got to be some other way to keep healthy. Walking, maybe. Nice afternoon walks. Yeah, that sounds good. Running isn't for me. I wave to Emi and head back to my room. I'll think of something else later. Back in my room, the first thing I see is the familiar row of medication bottles lined up on top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed, as usual. It's annoying. I thought I was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing, gotten over it. But what I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here really reminds me of the reality, and trying to fight against it just hurts. Reflecting on it is only going to do so much. I've done this before, for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allowed myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is a life in progress. This is how I'll rationalize it. I downed the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepared to head out to class early, as usual. As I step into the hallway, I noticed Kenji coming around the hallway corner, stealthily making his way over to his own room with a large bag. As he sneaks past me soundlessly like a ninja hiding in plain sight, I call out to him. Hey. He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh, hey man, I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more than like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? Nah, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured that it would be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. Okay, Kenji. I decide to not point out that he's not wearing a hat. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open slowly, releasing a creaking sound into the air that only makes the moment seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside his room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find out a test date. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh. I just wanted to know when the next test day was. I'm still going to take it, duh. I need to know so I know what day I can't afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check up on it. And why do you have to go out when you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? Nah, I don't use phones. I don't have a phone. Phones. I have no phone. Why don't you have a phone? Why can you not have a phone? No phone at all? No phone. I just don't like phones. Actually, I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, ominous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with the phone in the past. Beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head? Well, where else can I get beaten with a phone that would make me unable to remember it? The ass? Unexpectedly logical, I feel very depressed now. Sensing this conversation is more or less over, Kenji opens his door again and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm going to sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is going to start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I accidentally bought 2 because I thought the store had started selling individual AA batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair, finally letting me go to the class. For a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces now, though the names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first few days I was pretty high-strung in class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds.
Games and fried food.
Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. But what I meant was... The remainder of this sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in the school would probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria.
Isao!
Oh, Emi, what do you want?
I'm going to make you a one-time only super extra special lunch offer. Emi's homemade lunch boxes and the privilege of enjoying them in private with 2 bombshell beauties.
Huh? Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Emily strikes a very confident-looking pose, as though as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her very modest chest, and making the V for victory sign with her hand. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor being invited?
You stood there looking really lost and so sad, so I thought you could use some company.
That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable.
So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. I'm kidding.
Sure, I'll have your lunch offer. With pleasure.
Let's go to the roof.
Who's the second person? The roof? Why the roof?
Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off and then I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself.
I bet it's Rin. Who will?
Come with me.
Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why do you have an extra lunch? Emi smiles guiltily.
Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in the run at lunch and forgot to eat it.
Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emi shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emi flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs.
Hello, Yipes, you scared me, Rin.
Wait, isn't she?
Hello.
Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emi looks curiously at me.
You two know each other?
I look confusedly at Emi. She's a friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school.
I didn't know you knew this person, Emi.
Yeah. Hi, Rin. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Emi lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off.
I invited Hisa for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking.
They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There is nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few run-down benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence to look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at the passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly, I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries a scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to, just a few weeks ago. Emi settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and 2 small lunchboxes from her bag.
Come on, Isao. What are you waiting for?
She is beckoning me to join them, making room on an already small bench. I seat myself in the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. An impressive view. Emi suppresses a giggle, and places a lunchbox in front of Rin, and hands another lunchbox to me.
Here you go. Lunch as promised.
Thank you, Emi. Whoopsies. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good.
Thanks, I make it myself when I can.
Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening a lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emi tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emi looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding.
My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great, because then I burn through for lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man?
I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh.
It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too?
Do you always talk like this?
Talk like what? Like what?
I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emi answer the question.
Someone in the housing department thought we'd complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another.
Complement each other?
Like shoes and a suit.
Huh? Emi giggles at my confusion.
Put us together and we get all our limbs. Get it?
Yeah, I got you. Ah.
So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along.
I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject.
I had trouble with shirts.
Right. That seems fairly obvious.
Really?
Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emi seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of the things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm going to just stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner.
I see.
The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Emi finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise.
That was good.
As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up.
I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry!
With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I am once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emi or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives out the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure.
So, Hisao, how do you like it up here?
It's quite nice, actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Emi grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose.
No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I will make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here.
No lunch service? I don't know. Emi looks mock offended.
Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve.
She giggles.
Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone.
I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emi pouts. Kidding! I was kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay too. Emi frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs.
Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away.
Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we had better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Oh, Hanako, are you here? Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evidence from the almost total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I'd brought into the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite start from the bang they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Ah, sorry, Yuko. Didn't mean to startle you.
No, that's fine. It happens. A lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you?
It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wandered down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Hanako, there you are, my darling. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. Oh. After an indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. Oh, Lily! After passing through and around in the corner though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards a small town below. The color of her hair and tapping of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does.
Hisao.
Yep, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise.
Good evening. What brings you here?
Once again, she gives a small, polite bow, and once again I reply in kind before realizing that I needn't do so. Just going to town. You?
My, what a coincidence.
Doing the same thing, eh?
I usually go shopping on Fridays.
She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost.
That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me.
Ah, not lost, but worried. The two of these seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in the book. She lets out a small sigh of relief.
Thank you. She has a habit of doing that.
Avid reader?
Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit.
Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, 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 tack. With the road bereft of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kinda nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle where I used to live. Before I know it, I relax so much that I allow the yawn escapes before I can control it.
Tired?
Yeah, I've been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this.
Well, hopefully everything should be settled down for you. The festival's got everyone in the spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things.
For a moment, I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess Yamaku's kind of different though. I mean, the formalities surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it though in time. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. Feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with Class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case.
Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends.
That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else.
So, where in town were you going?
That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions. Again. I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way.
Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself.
It looks like I'll be in your care again then. Thanks. Together we walk to the store. My pace is carefully slow to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. Ah yes, my favorite store, the Aura Mart. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter.
Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here...
It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she'd had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it'd be my pleasure. And unfortunately, I have to stop here for today, but if you are enjoying this video, please leave a like, comment what you think so far, and if you want to watch more of this, please take a look at the playlist down below. If you want to watch more visual novels, please take a look at the channel. Thank you, and take care.